So the first step in setting up the HPC 1200 with the Tibbe adapter is inserting the correct card, in this case C2093, making sure to put the correct supplied washer onto the main bolt, and then installing the cutter wheel with the writing out onto it. Lock everything onto the reverse threaded bolt. Finger tight, and making sure that this end cap fits right there. That gives you the proper depth to work with. When we insert the key into the housing, there's a small set screw here near the bow of the key. That is tightened down so that the key stays in place. When it's tightened down properly, as we rotate the head of the key, we'll see these click, one individual spot at a time. I'm taking care to line up first with the small dot and the small dash that seems to be by itself. When we insert the Tibbe adapter, we're going to put it all the way through until it touches the block, and locking it down, making sure it stays flat and even. That is how to set up the HPC Tibbe adapter on the 1200 Blitz.
What's the most common problem that people have when they get the adapter?
Many people find that their key doesn't look like it's being held straight in the adapter, and in fact it's not supposed to. Some people find that trying to adjust it themselves is what causes a lot of these problems.
So we do have a place over here, a hole, and is there something in there that we should adjust or touch or anything?
Only if you have secondary problems. There's a small set screw in the hole here which is used for the calibration of this jig. If you've adjusted this screw and rotated the key at all, you've probably messed up the calibration. Normally this would be something for the factory to fix. If you were to try to attempt it yourself, the only way that really works out in the field is to move the jaw towards the blade, loosely move it back and forth, and find the spot that you can move the carriage farthest in. If the key is rotated, it will stop. When it rotates to the flat position, it'll be able to lightly touch it in the very middle of the key blank.
So if somebody has actually played with that screw and then moved this, they've really messed up the calibration. It should be sent back to the factory, and the Allen wrench that comes with this won't even fit in that hole.
Correct.
So it's not something that could be done accidentally.
The third and final screw on the jig, located near the tip of the key here, is where the ball bearing and spring is housed to give it this click into place. You should not have to adjust this screw. If you find that it's far too hard to turn, you may want to loosen pressure slightly. If you find it is far too weak and not clipping into place, tightening the screw slightly should help that. If you find that tightening this screw all the way down still does not give you the click into place from the ball bearing, then it could be a problem with the calibration screw.
Okay, let's take out a lock and show the issue that you might have with a Ford Tibbe key versus a Jaguar Tibbe key on how they fit but let's see. So here's a lock that we've taken out of a car, and the Ford Tibbe key has 6 cuts and the Jaguar key has 8 cuts, and you can see that one's a little bit longer, a little more meat to the end of it. But when you put it in a lock, if you put in the key, it should be able to move both directions. Okay, and you'll see if it moves both directions, the tailpiece will move. However, if you use the wrong key, it will fit into the lock.
So this one's uncut.
And it'll turn, but the tailpiece doesn't move. And it's really only turning in one direction. So if you ever cut a key and it's not working, but it is turning, it could be because you have the wrong key for the wrong car.
Another part, and this may be somewhat confusing, is that the longer Jaguar keys and the shorter Ford keys have different styles of codes. Jaguar, the longer key, has a cut of 1, 3, or 4 positions. 1 being its standard position, 3, and 4. With Ford keys using a position of 1, 2, 3, and 4. Retrieving codes online may not give them in this format though. From online, I pulled the code for my Jaguar key of 2322 starting, but as there is no Jaguar cut of 2, I had to change the code. Starting with 1, going to the second Jaguar position, which is technically a 3, and the third Jaguar position, which would be a 4. Now these cuts are duplicated on each of the 4 sides of this key. So to make a 3 cut in the other side would be here. And on the other side of the key, all the way around, making sure to line up that small dash and that small dot, would be 2, then 3 for Jaguar, which are technically in the positions of 3 and 4. Ford keys, which are the shorter versions, do not have to worry about this. It's simply 1, 2, 3, and 4 on all sides.